Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? I feel like I'm running behind, even though I'm really not running behind that much. I think we need some more brightness here a little bit. Let me fix that. And you could have disconnected. Okay. Sure, why not? Let's see. This button? Maybe? I think that's a little bit better. Let's see. I think that is better. All right, so let's see. Things that I've done today. I've picked out and made all the listings for the new original pieces that are going to be going up in my coffee shop, Ko-fi, however you want to pronounce it, Ko-fi shop, and on my in-print. Almost all of the things that I've chosen for this next week have prints, which meant it was more work for me, but you know, that's fine. I had time to do it this week. I just posted that video of the ones that are going to be available for my patrons, and they still have until Monday when I post everything to claim any originals that they want before it goes for sale publicly, which is one of the perks that they get. I'm realizing now that I did not take a video with the one that had been claimed before I packed it up and shipped it. Oh well. So let's see, I did that. I posted the Woobat from memory before I started today. I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting that I did. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So today we're going to be using a compass, which is exciting, and I'm lucky that my brother just had one sitting around. But I also have not done this before, and I haven't used like an actual compass in God knows how long. But I was lucky my brother just had one sitting around while I wanted to do it. So today we're going to be working on a square here. This is an 8x8 square. But first, we're going to use some scraps to test this out. I didn't grab my tape. Oh, I always got to forget something, right? This is why having a desk with like my own studio space is going to be so nice, because I won't actually have to move my stuff across 3 different rooms every time I try to do this. Hopefully I'm working on tearing up the carpet in that room on Monday, and then we can seal it, and then I'll be able to set up down there. But we'll see. Tape. El Tape. Let's see, you can't see the whole span of that, which is really fine. We're just doing a test, and if I like this, maybe I'll do something with it. And if I don't, then it's not really a waste. But I do want to tape this down so it doesn't move while I'm messing with this. And normally I'm really a picky weirdo, and I always cut my tape instead of tearing it, but I didn't grab scissors, so here we are. And I did, this is the scrap from cutting the paper into the square, and I did actually cut 2 squares. Not planning to use both of them on this, but I have mentioned that I will be streaming on Sunday this week because it's my birthday and I want to. So I'll be doing that, and I think my brother and I will be trying some finished candy. Hi, Grim. And then I will be working on some art, depending on how deeply traumatized I am by the finished candy. Not really. I'll do that. Let's see. Hydrate. Here we go. I'm trying to slurp that like as loud as possible so that people can hear it. Stretching. Oh, it's no real shock, but my back hurts. It always hurts. Let's see, something nice about myself. I'm really pleased that the things that I like about my art are the things that other people also like about my art. I don't know that that's like a compliment necessarily, but it does mean that I'm like projecting the right vibes. Because I asked a bunch of people, Grim was one of the people who actually commented on this. I asked people what they would think of my art, which is related to the other art project that I plan to do on Sunday. Look at that, me connecting things. So I want to do like a meet the artist kind of a thing, and I wanted to put a little section that was like what I say about my art and what other people say about my art. And those actually overlap amazingly well, which is great. So I think I'm going to make a Venn diagram and put that on my little Meet the Artist page. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I have, you want to see the grossest, nastiest, fastest sketch that I did for this? That I did in the dark in bed because that's when I had the idea. So this is cutesy Katie form, and this is Goblin Katie form. And I need to decide which one I think is more accurate to put on the page. I might do both, because like really, Goblin Katie mode is almost 100% of the time. It's like 98% of the time I'm Gremlin Goblin mode. And then Katie actually wearing real clothes and dressed up is more like the shiny form. Yeah, I really like, I don't enjoy existence, I'll put it that way. And wearing bras and having to be perceived makes me enjoy existence less. So I mostly stay at home in my pajamas. That's my natural state of being. What was I doing? I was checking those off on the rewards queue because I did them. There we go. So. Well, you get to perceive me a little bit now. I will be doing, for the candy tasting, I will be doing a face cam so that people can see my reactions. Because it's Calibros, who's popped in here before, is like one of my best friends, and that's his favorite candy mix. So I bought some, and it's supposed to be soft candy, like it's supposed to be gummy. They are not gummy anymore. I might have to break them with a hammer. We'll see. But I wanted to try his actual candy. And then I was like, oh, well, if he wants to see me eat it, I might as well just do it on stream now that I started streaming. And then I think I bullied my brother into trying it too. So that'll be a treat in one way or another. And you get to perceive me while I do that. How do I open this? Oh, there's tape on it. That's why. I was like, there's clearly just a little thing that I left here, but this has never been used and there's tape there. Yeah, I'm such a bully. I'm so mean all the time. I also need to trim my fingernails. These are getting a little bit ridiculous. Usually I just wait until one breaks and then I trim them all, but I think I'm too strong. Vitamins too good. Oh my gosh, this tape is going to be a pain in the butt. I have an X-Acto knife. Let me grab that. Also, this is neither here nor there. I'm just thinking about it. I couldn't find my shorter ruler. So we have like the 18-incher today instead of my 12-inch ruler, which is maybe better. I do need to buy a new 12-inch because the cork fell off of the back. Which makes it a little slippery slidey. Yeah, I figured you were going to. They do make like tiny little baby. Gosh, this tape is going to drive me nuts. I'm going to sit here and peel this tape up because even though I just cut it so that I can open it, it's going to drive me insane. They do make tiny little baby rulers too, which I might purchase at some point. but they make them like 6 inches, which is even funnier, I think, in this discussion. But the problem with the cork-backed ones is that if you do a lot of pencil stuff, it will pick up and smudge the graphite, and then the graphite gets shoved into the cork, and then anytime you try to use it on a blank sheet of paper, it makes it all grungy and gross, which is what happened with the smaller one that I have when I was doing the typography stuff, because I needed to make guidelines. And it ended up getting really grubby and grimy. And then the cork just started falling off and it was driving me nuts, so I peeled it off because, as you can see, I have a thing about peeling things, which is why my skin was a nightmare as a child during the summer. Because I also sunburn very easily, because I am very, very white. Well, I never got sunburns as bad as my brother did. He regularly got blisters. Oh my god, there's still a piece of tape on there. And now that I've peeled this tape off, there's just the adhesive and it's all sticky, and that's even worse. We're gonna ignore it. I'm not acknowledging it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. The sun is a deadly laser. This is true. At my the last like in-person job that I did. How do I? Okay, that's this. Got it. At my last in-person job, one of the things that we did. Am I stupid? Maybe. I probably should have like checked how this worked before I started messing with it, but maybe I'm smart enough to figure it out. Does that go there? I'm so confused. But one of our jobs was peeling a bunch of the stickers off of used books, like used textbooks. And that was like my favorite part of the entire job. What's this do? I feel like it should, oh, maybe it slides in here. I know you can't see me working on this. I have it next to my face so that I can actually see what's happening, because I feel like that's supposed to go there, but maybe not. So confused. I feel like that could go there, but it doesn't. Does it have instructions? Oh, I'm supposed to pull that down? What does that do? These are really great instructions. I just have a bunch of little pictures that don't make any sense to me. Oh, okay. That's to lock it in place for the width. It does not show me how to use this thing that I need to add. Hey, Captain Blue Jay, how are you doing? I'm good enough. Well, this has probably been sitting around since my brother was in engineering college classes. It was just kind of sitting around, and since he's an engineer, I was like, do you just have a compass lying around that I could use for this? Okay, so I figured out that part. That's how you're supposed to lock the arms in place. Got that. But how does this attach here? That's the issue that I need to figure out, because that's the way that it will do the thing that I want it to do. I feel like a monkey hitting a computer with a rock at the moment. Good enough, yeah. I'm glad you're doing well, or well enough, or whatever isn't bad, I guess. Wait, does this pull off? Ho ho! We have progress. I love that they didn't say that at all. There we go. I figured it out, everybody. We're okay. And then this can pull up. Yeah. Cool. I figured it out. We're good. And I didn't need to pull out the pencil lead and stuff from the other thing. So I'm going to put that back together before I drop a piece, which is what I just did. There it is. Okay. Okay. Some days, if you just pull on something, it'll work. That's the lesson here. It makes me think, so we're going to go into some childhood lore because this unlocked a memory in me. When I was little, like maybe 4, one of my cousins got me a transforming toy. I don't remember if it was Transformers. I think it was a Mutant Ninja Turtle toy that was supposed to transform. And so you were supposed to pull on a piece and make it do something to change. And I was like, okay, so I pull on something to make it change. And while everybody else was asleep, I wanted to play with my new toy, right? So I started trying to do that and I couldn't figure out how to change it. So I just started tugging on different pieces. And I broke the toy the first night that I had it. And I remember everybody being so mad at me. Let's see. If I do it like that, it's not going to do the wide brush stroke. So I need to... This is like a super cheapo brush too, so if I break it, doesn't matter. I do use this shape quite often. I should get a better one. But I still remember breaking that toy and everybody being so mad at me. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think it was my cousin. I think it was a boy from church that we hung out with a lot. Okay. So the idea here, I'm practicing on this smaller sheet of paper to do some circles on a bigger sheet of paper, but I saw somebody doing this technique where they were using a compass with a paintbrush on it to make like perfect circles. And I like that idea because I have a piece in mind. I'm busting up this metal on this thing. That's fine though. Because I had an idea about doing steps of depression and how a phrase can mean one thing in one step of a spiral and means something else completely near the end of the spiral. So my plan is to do a square like this with black in the center, doing colors of gray out, and then starting into a rainbow. And having a slice of it that has the phrase that I'm choosing to use, which is I'm still here. I had a really bad spiral a couple weeks ago and I was thinking about how to process it, and this is what I landed on. Which is forward movement for sure with my brain. Instead of saying stuck in it, I was like, okay, I understand what's happening. I can see what's going on. Now how do I deal with that in a way that's productive? And this is what I landed on. So we're going to see how this goes. I haven't tried this technique. I saw exactly one video of somebody doing it. And now I'm going to see if I can figure it out. So I'm just going to use random colors that I have sitting around for the test. Because that's going to be easier. Do I? Yes, I do. When I'm trying to make like a lot of paint in a watercolor, I use straw to draw water out of my cup and put in, because I feel like that's like a lot faster than doing a bunch of brush strokes. It's not as controlled for sure, but it works well to get a good watery consistency to start out with. Okay, and this is a gouache mix, and I just kind of want to see how they react to this differently. Yeah, it's one of those phrases where, like, especially if you've been dealing with not wanting to be here anymore, I'll put it that way. Um, it's one of those things where when you get out of it and you're like, I am still here, like you got through it. Yeah, it's more like, I saw it, so maybe I could do this. We're gonna try anyway, because it was such a cool thing. Because like, of course you can use a paintbrush with a compass. It's just a round thing for anything to stick in. Of course I could use a paintbrush. Why didn't I ever think of that before? So let's see here. A loose pinky there. We have some purple, some yellow, and these blues. And I'm gonna start. Ooh, maybe I want to get the paper wet first. Do I want to get the paper wet first? Do I want the colors to bleed into each other? I think yes, because I feel like for the message of the final piece, there aren't nice defined lines between stages of a spiral. There you are. So I feel like the colors bleeding into each other actually lend itself better to the concept. So let's get this wet and see what happens. I don't know. I'm always that kind of person too, where it's the curse of the crafter, really, where you see something and you're like, oh, I could do that. And then you spend $300 trying to figure out how to do it. Okay, so let's start with black and then work our way out here. I'm gonna stay put, buddy. Okay. So let's start there. I should, before I do that, make a mark on the paper so that I know where my center is. Which means I should know. I'm pretty sure this is 9 inches. I'm pretty sure that's what I cut the rest of it to, so yeah. So we want mark at about 4.5 here. This is where my smaller ruler would be more helpful. Okay, so that's going to be our center mark. So my plan, I think I may need to pull the brush up just a little bit here. Which is going to be interesting. That may be too far. We'll find out. So, like, yay. And I want to fill that in. Pull this down and whiten. Pop it to lock it. Pop and lock. Now I want to rinse out the paintbrush so that's a different color. I probably want to do some blues here. Let's see. I think this is the darker blue. Nice. Yeah, well, cross stitch is an embroidery stitch. So it really, and I don't particularly like using this term, but I'm going to anyway because I think it's accurate. Cross stitch is really the gateway drug into embroidery. That's just the way it works. Let's see. Yeah. Do you do pixel art too? That's the same kind of dealio. And then you can make your own cross stitch patterns, which I definitely haven't fallen into that issue where I make my own cross stitch patterns. Okay. I think that color's a bit too light to really show up. And I do think that I need to figure out how to get the... Maybe if I just do that, that will help. I am getting quite a bit of white in between. But I think I can fill it in like that, and that's not too bad. It still has the right ring to it. Oh, good, good. That's awesome. I mostly make my own patterns because I'm really bad at following instructions. I do that with knitting. Well, I've gotten better with knitting patterns lately, but I'm like that with crochet and stuff, especially. Okay, let's do this pinky color next and see how that goes. I think this one's going to be really light because I put way too much water in there, but this is just a test, so who cares? Not me. I do think I'm probably going to end up smudging these color lines even more on the final piece. Shrimp check. Every time. I'm all hunched over like a weirdo. Probably should have done purple and then pink, but whatever. I think oh, I didn't change the circle. I think the hard part on the actual piece is going to be not drilling a hole in the center of the piece with the compass. So I may like put some tape down there or something to try and limit that a bit. I do think this is working just fine though. I considered just going into the actual piece without doing a test, and then that started giving me anxiety, so I didn't. As if anything doesn't give me anxiety. I'm the anxiety queen, baby. I want to do a complementary color and see how the blending goes with these. Thank you. I think that the colors on this are not bright enough for me to do anything with afterwards, but we'll see. I could always add some typography or something on top of it that would look nice. But even if it's just a test, then it has served its purpose. I think this is gouache. Maybe. I don't full on remember. Which is why, for my regular palette, I have something that says what everything is. Because your girl is not so great with straight up memory. Which is funny because I play a lot of memory games and stuff. But there's a difference between like short-term memory and remembering what the heck you put on your palette 3 weeks ago. Let's see, we have some green. Let's do green next. So I think those mixing together is fine. It is going to be a thing where I forget to change the compass orientation and then load my paintbrush up and then make a mess on myself, but that's fine. I do think that maybe doing the full circle will end up being a little bit more difficult instead of just the one side that I am doing, but I think I can manage that. All right. Cool. Do another blue at the edge for kicks. And spray blue all over everything, sure. The blues in this palette were gouache that I mixed up because I wanted to do like really thick gouache on something and I wasn't sure how much I was going to need. I do think that the gouache doesn't play as nicely with the mixing as the watercolor on watercolor does. But I needed like a lot of gouache for it because I was doing like a copy of Starry Night a little bit. Van Gogh's Starry Night, the famous one. There's more than one, which I can actually pull out. I have my accordion folder here, but it's just been sitting there because I was like, that's a lot of gouache. I don't want to just like throw it out. So I've been using it for other stuff too. This one. So I did a mix of gouache and acrylic for this one. So the background is gouache and then I used acrylic on the cypress and the moon to give it a little bit more texture. This is part of my dream journal project where I'm doing artistic representations of my dreams. The reason I wanted to do the acrylic for those two parts is because those are in my dream were modeling chocolate. So it was like a cooking contest, like MasterChef or something like that. And they were supposed to make fondant cakes. And as you can tell, there is no gooey center, which there should be. So the cake was like beautiful, but absolutely overbaked. And I started laughing about it so hard I woke myself up. So there you go. The compass works. My brother's here. That's who I'm talking to. You probably can't hear him, but he said hi. Okay, I am going to mute my mic for a second and use the hairdryer in this so that we can get to the actual piece. I don't want to pull the tape off while this is still like super duper wet. Captain Blue Shade says hi, Tundra Brother. We call him Brother Bean. That's the official and unofficial title. Yeah, I have a lot of weird dreams, man. And sometimes a lot of the ones that I remember that aren't like traumatic and awful are ones that make me wake up laughing. There was actually one point somebody I dated woke me up because I was laughing in my sleep, and it was just a weird sound, right? Because when you're laughing in your sleep, you aren't laughing like a normal person. Just kind of like how when people talk in their sleep, they aren't pronunciating everything very well. So he actually like woke me up in the middle of a dream, and I was so grumpy. He was like, "You were making a weird sound. I was worried about you." And I was like, "That's because it's funny." And I rolled over and went back to sleep. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic really quick so that I can hair dry this, but I can still see you guys. Okay, we're gonna see if we, it's still a little bit damp. We're gonna see if we butcher the paper by taking the tape off now. It's just a test anyways. A little bit, but not too bad. This tape is usually pretty good about not ripping the paper up. And then we get to tape down the real piece of paper. I do think this yellow, like, really, on this side, bled and took over the purple, which is interesting. It does look like a nice kind of warmy brown, all things considered. And you can see where the compass mark is there, because now it's just a hole. So I'll need to be careful with that on the actual piece. Or maybe I want to cut a circle out of the middle of it. Maybe I want to cut a circle out of the middle. That would be a pain in the butt to cut, but it would look really cool. All right. I think that looks like a lovely piece of abstract art. Which way, though? I think I like it the way that we did it. If I was going to name this right now, I would name this Everlasting Gobstopper. Not going to lie. That's the vibe I'm getting. Okay, I should name this and date it before I forget what the heck I'm doing. Yeah, it might be a nice bookmark. Maybe, I think it would want something over the top of it, just for me personally. But doing like a list of books you've read this year on there so that you could write it on the bookmark that you used might be a cool idea. One of the, I know I brought my pencil out here. Where is it? There it is. One of the things that I committed to doing this year, I don't really do New Year's resolutions. I do like vibes that I want to go for, because I feel like making really resolute resolutions, if you will, puts a lot of pressure on, and a lot of times just ends up with you beating yourself up about it. So instead, I kind of say things like, oh, I want to play more indie games this year, kind of a thing. I don't set a number or anything like that. And this year, I wanted to read more, and I really have managed that. So I have a actual spreadsheet, because I'm a dorky little nerd. Today's the 18th. With all the books that I've read, but having like a bookmark like that, it seems like a good idea. I'm just gonna call this Everlasting Gobstopper because I like it. Why not? All right, still a little damp, so I don't want to put it in my folders yet. There you go. And let's get working on this sucker. I've been reading like 2 different books at a time lately, which I'm doing one as like an audiobook and one I'm actually like reading as an ebook for the most part. I do have some actual paper books, but I'm way more likely to read them if they're an ebook. Which is like, I think I'm on, both of them right now are murder mysteries. And I've also just started rewatching Murder, She Wrote. So I'm just like murder mystery central right now. That definitely won't do anything bad to my brain, I'm sure of it. I've been so into murder mystery since I was a kid, though. Like, I remember I would have been like 11, 12. I went through all of the murder mystery series that I could find. What was the name of those? It was like the Cat Who mysteries. So it was this guy and his cat solved mysteries. And it was like an adult series, but I was blasting through those like nobody's business. I don't know. Murder mysteries are fun. They're like brain popcorn. I think maybe part of the reason I like them is because they really do have like an ending. A lot of books leave things open to interpretations, which is fine, but you don't really get that in murder mysteries, and I do like a little bit of assuredness at the end of my book. Try to center that on camera. I think that's close enough. And then I'm going to mess it up the second I try to put tape on it, but you know, it's the effort that counts. Okay. Let's see, I'm doing the audiobook right now is Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which is a Poirot mystery by Agatha Christie. And I did watch through the entire Poirot TV show that started in like the 80s recently. So like I know where all these books are going, but they have changed. They did change them a bit for TV, especially since one of the actors that played a companion of Poirot wasn't there for all of them, which I think he's in more of them in the books than he was actually in the show. But this one I know like who did the murder, so I'm like, how is this going to work out? Because things are a little bit different. Everything's slightly sideways, and I'm curious to see what changed between the two. Although I don't think that I would recommend Agatha Christie books as audiobooks a lot of the time, just because the language changes between now and then, at least for me, make it difficult for my brain to process it. I guess I don't know that the actual ebook that I'm reading is a murder mystery. It is a mystery. I'm assuming it's a murder mystery. There were murders revealed in the chapter that I read last night. I don't know, man. I love murder mysteries. I like little slices of things that are resolved at the end. Okay. I need to make a centerpiece. I also need to decide if I'm cutting a hole out or not, I think, because that will change how I do the actual piece. That will make it so that matting the original piece is going to be a pain in the butt. But I don't know. I don't know that I want to sell this one even. I will do prints of it for sure, but I don't know if I want to sell the original. This should be a little less than 8, yeah. So 4. Right. There's our center point. I think cutting out a hole will make it easier for this side of the process, but it will also make it more difficult to sell the original if I want to sell it. But also, I don't think it would be that bad, especially if I do small circle. I'm just thinking that the dark side of the spiral, right? It feels like there's a way out, even if it's one that you aren't willing to take. So I feel like cutting the circle will both remove the fear of the compass hole and also add a layer to the piece. But for matting, that wouldn't be obvious unless you did some like foam core on the back when you matted it, which would mean it would need custom matting. Which, sorry, I need to stop clicking my tongue. I know that's super loud. It's just a habit I have while I'm thinking. You really don't notice how many weird sounds you make until you start streaming and you're trying to be aware of it. Like, I know I make strange little sounds a lot of the time, but I did not realize how much of a tongue clicker I was. I think that I am going to cut out a circle in the middle, but I'm not going to plan how big of a circle until after I see the piece done. I do also, I wonder if my X-Acto knife will fit in the compass. I bet it won't. That would make life easier, but I also have some stencils somewhere in the world that I could use for that, and that wouldn't be too bad. Okay, colors. I don't want to use metallics on this one, I don't think. We have my regular palette and the palette map that we did. I do want to start out with like straight black. I also have some lighter grays that I've mixed together in here. That probably don't look super different on camera, but they do look different when you put them on the page. That's mixed with titanium white to get like a straight gray, because that was easier for my Pride Roses when I was doing grays for that. So I might utilize those a little bit. I also do have a Payne's Gray in my palette, because I want to start out with straight black, move to grays, and then move into either purple or blue, I think, and then go through a rainbow from there and end up on some really, like maybe opera pink, like a bright color. And I do think that I should plan out what colors I want to do before I start. Otherwise, I'm going to get muddied in the middle and do something I don't like. So, another piece of scratch paper. We will poke around with this and see what I want to do. Let's see. So, Lunar Black, definitely to start out with. This one does some really cool granulation too, which I really like. It gives it a lot more interest than just like a straight black wood. And let's see, I think this is Payne's Gray. Yeah, because that's really blue tinted. I need to get a warmer gray at some point. But I picked one out, and the only tubes I can find are like 15 milliliter, and I do not need that much gray. Just straight up do not need to pay $30 for a tube of gray that I'm never going to go through. Okay, I think I can set you aside because you're similar enough to the other one. So definitely want to do those. Straight Payne's Gray. This probably wants to go next to the black. Then the decision, do I want to do purple and then blue? Or do I want to go straight into blue? I definitely want to do cool colors first and then move up to warmer colors. I think purple is the right move. And I might tone that down a bit with some black or some Payne's Gray. Let's see. So then we can move into some brighter colors. And I might decide they're too bright and wash over them with some Payne's Gray once I get them on the page. I might skip sap green. I'm not feeling you today, buddy. Go straight to yellow. And I probably want to do, well, no, I want to do this red. I have like a violet hue red and one that's more on the orange scale, and I think I want to do the orange one. I was thinking I might do the violet since I want to end with the opera pink, but I think the orange one will end up looking better. So like that. I think, in terms of outwardness. And we'll see how many layers I managed to fit in. How many did I do here? So we did black, blue, blue, pink, purple, orange, green, blue. And I could have fit another one on the outside if I wanted to. So 2 blues, pink, purple, yellow, green, blue. So that's 8. That's about it's a little bigger than the page. So we can probably fit 7 to 9 on the page. If I do it as spaced out as I did before. I didn't do it super close. So I think start with black and then do this gray. Well, this one, so I'm gonna do black first. And I'm gonna do Payne's gray second. And then I think I wanna do this gray third, which is this one. Then purple would be 4. This blue would be 5, 6, 7. Okay. Maybe I don't want to do this blue. Well, maybe I don't want to do this blue actually. So let's do 6. I'm not doing sap green. Then 7, 8, and then maybe I'll ditch red and do just pink. Okay, I think that's enough of a plan to move forward with. Usually I would have been thinking about this nonstop for days and days and days, and I would have written out a huge plan and been so prepared, but I've been trying to not do that as much lately because like at a certain point you can't full on plan art. And trying to plan it too much is going to end up with you going a little bit nuts because you can't control all of the aspects. And I'm just an over planner by nature, so I've been trying to like chill out a little bit in a way that's better for my brain. Not that my year has been particularly conducive to that, won't lie. Okay. And you. Oh, I do want to get the page wet before I start. Not super wet, just a bit wet. I really should. I should have brought out the friggin' calligraphy brushes that Astro Kitty got me to do this. It's like half the point I got them. It's because they can do really nice big strokes. I still need to clean them. Okay. I'll let that soak in a little bit. Doing this, that needs to go up a little bit. This poor paintbrush, I'm abusing it. Because I'll try to be nice to it, because it is not of the highest quality. It just has like empty metal to attach the brush part to the actual handle, and it's crunching this bad boy. That was not there before. That's from me wrenching on it with the compass. Is that better? I'll still need to do something like that. Yep. But because it's crunching the metal, it only wants to stay in one spot, which is not helpful to me. So I may need to flip it to the other side that has not been crunched yet. Okay, is that better? No, that's too far up. Of course you want stay put. So helpful. There we go. Okay. And you immediately moved. Thank you so much for that. There. Okay. And so our story begins. That's like a core memory for me, that little bit in Fable. That plays in my head so often. I think I want to make the black a little bit bigger here. This is where I'm going to need to move it down a bit. Okay.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Sorry, that combo with the music was really funny to me. Let's return to the classics. Mr. KK Slider. Okay, changing colors. I was saying something. What was I saying? Fable. That's what I was saying. But that, and so our story begins. Plays in my head constantly, like anytime I start anything. Fable lady. And so our story begins. When I first moved to Alaska, I was like kind of just out of high school. I actually graduated late, so I didn't technically graduate, but they changed the date on my certificate so that it looked like I had. Anyway, we moved to Alaska like right after my senior year, and so I didn't really know anybody. I wasn't doing anything. I eventually got a job at a place that was awful, but until I like moved forward with that stuff, I was just kind of at home at loose ends. and I played so much Fable that I could actually see the map of my house in the corner of my eye when I wasn't playing. Um, I played so much of that. Okay, Payne's Gray, you're next, buddy. So, it just like latched itself into my brain, Fable, and it's never gonna leave. Gosh, this is such a cool technique. I'm so glad I saw this. Yeah, the first Fable. I don't think there were other ones out at that point. I moved up here in 2006. I'm old. Do I want more of that gray, or do I want to go straight into the other? I think a little bit more. I do think I played the second one, but I don't remember it as well as the first one. Cool. And I always was it the second one where you got to be a girl, or did they let you do that in the first one? I think the second one was where they let you play a female character. And I was just like the buffest, craziest thing in the world in that game. I always got so excited when they made it so that you could actually be a girl in games. Because I remember a time when that was not a possibility. Okay. On to our third gray. But my mom watched me play that like every day for 8 hours a day because we only had like one TV. Bless her, she really let me just go to town. Yeah, that's one way to say that you've never seen a woman in your entire life. Like, yeah. Yeah, I have seen that, and it's so silly. Like, the majority of Western art is based on naked women, and you can't animate a woman? That's too difficult? Okay. I could turn this into a record right now. We could just totally go a separate direction, and we could make a little music record. What do you think? I think the blooming that's happening from adding the other rings is really fun too. I just love watercolor texture. It's my favorite part. Okay, let's move this out of it. Yeah, I'm sure. Do I want to tone this down or do I not? I don't think that I do. Yeah, I've been getting more into watercolors. Like, I've always had watercolors around, but I've really actually been getting into like the actual art of watercolors, I guess you could say. Which I will blame Trisha for a lot of it. Need more water on that. But I started just adding like various colors to my typography stuff that I was doing. The first big project that I did for my Patreon, like it's actually the reason I started Patreon, was my year of lyrics, which I did a typography piece once a week of a song lyric that I related to for a year. And so if you look through those, they're all out of order right now because I've been listing some of them for sale. That's part of the stuff that I've been putting up. But I think I know where most of them are. Where are you? I say as I can't find them. I have stuff separated into different weeks of when I'm releasing them. And it's a little bit of a mess, not gonna lie. So like, there's an early one. And there's a little bit of a later one. Where is this one? So this one was the second week that I did. And so mostly I started out just doing like straight up black typography, and I started adding colors to it. This one is week 6. And I ended up really just doing full-on watercolors with them. This one's week 43. So I really like, that was a major part of the movement there. Let's see, those ones go in here, this one goes in here. Try to not mix those up too badly. But let's see, I did other mediums too, so I have some that are like, this one's Copic marker. Thank you! This one's one of my favorites, which is colored pencil and watercolor, as well as some other stuff. This one's two-sided. And it has vellum in the middle that's colored. Where did I set my phone? I can show you with the phone flashlight. So you can actually like see through it. I do have once I put this one up for sale, I do have like an actual nice video of it outside so that you can actually see the purple properly and all that kind of stuff. But so I did some like playing around with stuff, but a lot of it was really just watercolor. Let's see, this is another later one. This one's 48. So, and like I've owned watercolors for the majority of my life and just played around with stuff, but I've really been leaning more into it lately. By lately, I mean like the past 3 years. Okay, we want to do purple next. And more of those originals drop on Monday. I've been dropping them on Mondays. After this week, I have 2 more weeks of ones to do. And then I'll start listing some of the stuff that I've been doing on here. Oh, that's something else I should talk about. The Halloween stuff. I did get that sticker sheet done. I have a poll going on right now on my Twitter and my art Tumblr about what to do for the cauldron sticker, because I was working on that yesterday and just I couldn't make a decision. I've been having to make like a lot of decisions lately, and it's starting to make my brain melt. So I'm making other people vote on what they want, which is interesting because the one, from what I can see of people's votes, the one that I liked the best is actually the least popular. So it's a good thing that I decided to do that, huh? But I also need to decide on what singles I'm going to do from the Halloween sheet. I was going to do the skull and the witch hat, but I think they're a little bit boring. So I might not do them. I was thinking I might do the cat, like the split cat. I'll pull out the original art so you can see what I'm talking about in just a second here. I think it's in my folder. It should be in my folder. Yep. So these, I was planning to do the candle skull and the hat as single stickers in addition to the full sheet. But I'm not sold on them, I think. I do think the cat one is going to be fun. Because it's split in two pieces. So the idea is that you can put like the top half of the cat on something and then the bottom half of the cat further down so that it looks like the cat's hanging behind something. So like an address label or something was my thought. And I think that one might be fun, but I don't know that the concept is gonna go over super well. I'm not 100% sure. I also have where is that one? I also have that same idea on some of the sewing stickers where I split a needle. This one. So that'll be two separate stickers so you could make it look like the sewing needle has gone through the paper or something. And I like that idea, but I'm not sure if it's going to read very well to other people. What was I grabbing? The cauldron, that's what I was grabbing. And then the vote that's going on right now is about what to do with this guy for a sticker to add to the Halloween stuff. It's not on the regular Halloween sheet, but there is a different cauldron on the Halloween sheet. But I thought this one would make a good single sticker. I still need to decide what size to do that one after I decide, well, after people vote about which style they want, because it could have a background, it could have no background, it could have the sparkles, it could just be the plain, brain please, the plain cauldron without sparkles and stuff. Too many decisions, man. If I had known that life was going to involve this many decisions, I would not have joined up. Oh, I did those in the wrong order. Whatever. See, I even made a map and then I messed that up. It's fine. I don't think it'll ruin anything. It can be our secret chat. I do think this might end up looking a bit muddy though. We'll see. Not that that's the end of the world. Do a little bit bigger for this one, but it will bleed into the yellow in a way that takes over the yellow quite a bit, so I don't want to make it too huge right off the bat. I do think it's interesting that because I'm going this direction, this side is getting way muddier than this side. I might actually need to mix that up so that it looks a bit more balanced. Okay, let's do some yellow. I get, you know what would have been a smart thing to do? To test how wide this compass goes before I started doing this and cut the paper for it. We'll see. Oof. That is a big old sloppy blob. That's fine. Progress isn't linear. We can always use a reminder. Okay. A little bigger. It's more than a little bigger, but okay. I feel like this would probably end up looking better with a better quality brush. So maybe that's next on my to buy list, is some more flat brushes. Okay, I'm going to take a quick stretch break and change my water since we're going into some of the lighter colors and it's looking a little muddy at the moment, as you can see. So I'm gonna just take a second. I'm also gonna run some ads. So if you want to take off your headset now so you don't have to listen to the capitalism, I understand and I appreciate you and I see you. But I want 15 more cents from the stream, so I'm gonna do that while I'm away. Okay, I will be right back. I have returned. Here we go. Because I added so much more water to the yellow when I was doing it multiple times, it's done this really cool bloom effect. I'm in love with this right here. I love this. I love this. It looks like little lightnings. It's great. Thank you for being understanding of the ads. I know it's frustrating to exist in a world where you cannot avoid them, but hoo boy, do they push them. And it's actually like, since it's a way to get rid of the pre-roll ads, that means that people who pop in tend to stay longer, who don't know me, which is helpful. A lot of the advice actually for new streamers is to put off getting affiliate until you have a bigger community, because that's when they start putting pre-roll ads on you, which is wild to me. I remember the days on Twitch when there weren't any ads. How the times they change. Okay. Let's do some orange. Did I don't think that I moved this yet. Maybe, let's just do a little bit. And get a bunch of orange all over my hand because I'd already loaded up the paintbrush. Yeah, for sure. I remember when YouTube wasn't even a thing. And I mean, really, it goes all the way back to cable. The selling point of cable television was that there wasn't any ads on it. Yep, same. Remember when gas stations didn't have ads blaring at you from the gas tanks? That's the one I maybe hate the most. I don't even drive, just for the record. So like I don't have to deal with those. But like sitting in a car and having to listen to something blaring at you that you don't even care about. Yeah, the original, so it's before my time too, but I'm a nerd. So I like learning about history. Um, and the major selling point of cable was that it was ad-free. That was like the whole point for paying for something, was to have it be no ads, versus public television, which would have ads. And it's just like the way the slow slide of the nightmare that is advertising is like horrifying. Well and truly. Part of the point of the internet was that there wasn't going to be ads on it too. Yeah, see, so I don't even have to deal with them very often, but every time I hear them, they make me so mad because it's not like you can understand what's being said. Because the speakers are awful on those things, because why would you spend a lot of money on the shitty speakers for something that people barely even listen to? It's like absolutely bonkers, honestly. I think that I can do one row of red if I want to, but I don't think that I want to. I think I want to go straight to pink. Okay, so I remember a lot more of my dreams than the average person does, apparently, which I wasn't aware of before I started doing my project of dream journals. I do have ads in my dreams. It's gotten to the point where I'm so used to seeing and avoiding ads in my daily life that they show up in my dreams. And it's awful. Sometimes they're nonsensical ads, and that's a little funny. And sometimes it's because I've been researching something and trying to decide which brand to get. And it's a nightmare, man. Yeah, like I have a hell brain. I'm not quiet about that. My brain is a nightmare zone. It's the Thunderdome, and only battles happen in here. Um, but like that one is especially awful. At least I'm technically the one controlling them. I'm usually aware enough in my dreams that I can change what's happening for a lot of them, so I can alter it a little bit. So if I notice that I'm ending up in an ad space, I can wake myself up. Usually, not always, but oh boy, is that it sure is a statement on the universe. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I do. I think lucid dream most of the time. But sometimes once your brain picks up, if you have a nightmare brain like me, I should say, sometimes your brain picks up what you're doing and will keep you from doing it, especially in nightmares. Um, so there are some dreams that I have like full control over, and that's fine once I realize I'm dreaming, and I usually am aware that I'm dreaming. Um, and then sometimes my brain will go, no, actually, you're trapped here. You can't wake up. You aren't allowed to change this one. You have to deal with it. And those are always the worst. It's not fun times. I think I want more pigment over in the corners here. But I've had nightmares since I was like really little, like bad ones that I get stuck in. So even before I really like knew what lucid dreaming was, I started training myself to wake myself up. Which is just like wild that I had to do that. But it is helpful sometimes. Like I dream about the last in-person job I had. I get trapped in that one a lot. And my boss will show up and say that I'm not allowed to leave. Which is not fun. Although, yeah, she's passed away now. So usually if my brain is fully online, I can be like, actually you're dead and you don't get to control me anymore, and then I can wake up. Which is a bit of an extreme measure, but if it works. Yeah, I remember my nightmares a lot, but it's gotten to the point where usually when I'm in a dream, I realize I'm dreaming and then I'll play around in it for a bit and then I'll wake up. Usually I just let things happen as they're going to happen because I want to see what my brain's cooked up. Look at what we did to this poor paintbrush. She crouched. You gave us good work today though, buddy. Okay. I think that looks pretty cool. I think if I was to do it again, I would need to work on the moisture level when I'm putting the brush down. But like to avoid something like this or like this. But I think it actually looks pretty cool. So I did actually start my next dream journal yesterday. I sketched it out. Which is another one of those weird ones. My brain makes like movies sometimes. A lot of times it's zombie movies. I have zombie dreams like a lot. But this one was more like an adventure movie, so I'm kind of excited to paint it out. Okay. Yeah, I'm just so into bright colors lately. Well and truly. I just want to use pop colors all the time. And I'm blaming my Nuterra deck for that. I funded a Kickstarter for a tarot deck from an artist that I've been following since I was like 15 maybe. And their art has really started, like, it's always been pretty colorful, but they're very much into super bright, like neon pop colors now. So I funded that Kickstarter partially because, like, obviously I love the artist, but also the tarot deck was supposed to arrive in August, which is my birthday month. So I was like, oh, this is a birthday present for future Katie. So I've been using that because it arrived at the beginning of the month. And so I think just seeing the bright colors every day has changed my brain chemistry in a way that I really like. Because I do a daily draw every single day. So I draw one card to ruminate on for the rest of the day. And that's like one of the first things I do in the morning. It's also just a nice way to inject some more art into my day. Because I do have a wide selection of tarot decks, and I keep accumulating them. It's like a 72-page art book. It's great. Okay, I'm going to mute myself for a second so that I can hair dryer the last little bits here. And then we can start writing on this sucker. So I can still see you, you just won't hear me for a little bit. All right. The tape gave up. It was too hot. I do think I'm going to peel the tape off before I start writing on this, just because it's going to be easier if I can turn the page. Let's set a bunch of this wet stuff farther away from me so that I don't end up smacking it all over this painting. I need to put down new marker tape. I have tape on like the edges of where the camera can see that I need to keep moving because I reset this up every week until I can get my studio space set up, which I have been working on a fair amount, but it's given up the ghost. There we go. This looks cool. I love just letting watercolor do what it's gonna do. Honestly, that's some of my favorite stuff. Actually, at some point, I should really make like my own watercolor desktop background for my computer. That's a fun stream project we could do. I do have a watercolor background, but it's just like a freebie one from the Googles. Okay. So I think the idea is that I want to have like a slice here with the words. So I'm going to want to measure that for sure and make a guideline. And then I'll just do it in my handwriting all the way up, I think. I think that makes more sense for what I was conceptualizing the piece as. Sometimes I'll do like full-on typography for stuff, but for this one, I think not. Because as wild as it may sound, this piece is about me, and I'm uncomfortable when we are not about me. Okay, so that's our center point, which we already have drawn there. Maybe I want to end it like 1.5 inches on either side. Maybe I want the top to be like a full 2 inches on either side. Let's see here. What do I think? It's like if I was to do that, that would be like really big, which maybe is part of the point. Yeah, I think that looks best. So let's see, we went at 2 and we went at 6. I'm bad with numbers, so I have to like talk myself through any math that I do. I'm pretty sure I have dyscalculia because apparently algebra is not supposed to be easier for people than regular math. I always found it easier. I always did better at algebra than I did at just basic sums. Okay. Yeah. I figured that I did have dyscalculia for a few years, but I saw somebody say that the other day and I was like, wait, what? Because if there are fewer numbers, it's harder to get mixed up. So like I understand the processes and I can usually go through the process just fine, which is why math classes where I had to show my work, I actually did a lot better on, because like I do the work correctly, but I mix things up. So like I'll add something instead of subtracting it in the middle of something, or I'll change 72 into 27 at some point and I just don't notice. So yeah, bit of a sign there. Okay. Do I want to write this out in pencil first? Probably. I'm going to use a white gel pen here, and then I'll use Micron pen farther up. But what's great is I always did really poorly at math. That's just a fact. But I managed to do it okay for weaving and stuff. So I do a lot of fiber art. That's actually what my focus was when I did my art minor in college. So I can manage to do that kind of math okay, but I have to think about it really, really hard. And I redo it like 35 times. My brother is like way better at math, so I'll bother him about it too. I'll be like, here, check my math for me, please. But it does mean that I'm really good at using sums and functions in Excel. because it'll do the math for me, right? So I think I'm still here. There will be fine. And then I think doing it across and getting bigger and following the color will be fine. I don't know that I really need to plan it out that much, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Although I probably want a center line so that I know where to center it, which will be here. There. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Be right back. Oh, excuse me. I'm glad that I am aware enough to know when I'm sneezing so that I can mute, because I have a headset on, so if I sneezed, it would just deafen everybody. I was getting one of these out. Do I have the TED in there? No. Is it in here? Yes. Okay. Do I actually want it that big? Maybe not. Let's see here. Ooh, I do want to figure out what the center of the phrase is before I continue. And I do that in a really fancy and mathematical way. Here's my random sketches. This is for the Meet the Artist thing I'm going to do on Sunday, which is my birthday, and I'm going to be streaming so I can bother everybody. There's some sketches that you aren't allowed to see. Those are Patreon exclusive sketches. Thank you, Cap. That was very helpful of you. Okay. One and a half-ish. I'll just leave that because that's fine. Okay. Right. Okay, right in between the I and the first L is the center of that statement, without looking at specific letter spacing and stuff like that. But that's a space to aim for. That is also how I did it for most of my typography stuff in the year of lyrics. Is just write it out and count it. Because that's easier on my brain. For this one, it doesn't really matter though, because it's gonna fill up the whole pie. That is a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. So I'll let that dry and then go over another layer with this just to make it a little more lifted. I guess I could use gel pen for the black too if I wanted to. But I'm more likely to smear that. I know myself, and I will stick my hand in that almost immediately. Where is... I used you once today. There you are. Okay. So one here, one there. These ones are a little bit muddier because they're mixed together because the paper was still wet when we were working on it. I think I'm just gonna mix capitals and not capitals, however I feel like. Or maybe I want to do it to emphasize different words. I don't know. We're going to find out as we go. I'm just blowing on that so that it dries a little bit faster, so that I'm less likely to smear it with my hands. I think this is going to mean that I don't have that written on the pink. I could split it up on like the edges to do something, but I don't know that I like that. We'll see how I feel after I finish this one. Actually, I think I like that just fine. I don't think it needs another layer. Then I will cut out this tiny little circle down here. Do I want to do that now? Do I have anything I can cut on? I don't want to cut up my acrylic board. I can cut on my sketchbook, that's fine. I say sketchbook. It isn't really a sketchbook. It's just a random notebook that has crap in it that I grabbed because it was the closest thing to me and started sketching in it. Okay. I think that I'm probably smart enough to do this for a little circle. We're gonna find out together. So ideally, I can just turn this page and it won't be too bad. And then I can smooth it up after the fact. I'm guessing, yeah, that didn't go all the way through. So I can just do little wedges here. I do have a like proper cutting board somewhere, but I don't know where I put it. And it's a little one, which is mostly what I do anyway, is smaller stuff. Although now that I have a bigger scanner, I can do whatever I want. Oh, the paper wants to tear. Maybe it shouldn't be a perfect circle. The paper's probably still a little wet, which is why it's doing this. I probably should have waited, but I'm impatient. The only spot I really want to control where it tears is right here, because that's where the letters are. And then for the rest of it, I can just let it do what it wants, I think. It isn't a perfect circle, but... maybe I want to leave it a little bit raggedy. Like that. You probably can't see that super well, and this isn't going to be super in focus, but... a little raggedy hole there. Alright, we finished a piece of art today, guys. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to erase these lines a little bit, very gently, so that we don't lift any of the pigment. Well, I could lift the pigment so that that is like a little highlighted, but I don't think I want to test that. Thank you. I think since it's so small too, it won't be as much of a nightmare to custom mat. So I think that with the ragged edges sticking up, it's more obvious, so you could probably just mat it like normal and it will be fine. I guess it's probably hard to see that on the black acrylic, but okay. Brush off the eraser gunk. And sign and title. Oh my gosh, I didn't put what kind of paper this was. I usually write everything on the back. I usually do this in pen too. I guess I decided to do it in pencil just for kicks and giggles. We're just going to title this one Still Here. I think that is the right title. And I've already said the date wants to be the 18th. Yes. You'd think since my birthday is literally in 2 days I could keep track of that, but you'd be wrong. All right. Whoop whoop. I guess technically we did 2 pieces of art today because the test counts as a piece of art too. Okay. I think I want to start planning the Meet the Artist thing I'm going to start working on Sunday now, which means I'm going to go grab the other piece of paper that I have already cut for it, which is going to be a little bit too big for this camera stand, I think, which will be a problem when I start working it on Sunday too, so we can mess around with that a little bit. But I'm not going to put up the BRB screen or anything. You guys can listen to me while I walk into the other room to grab a sheet of paper. Because it's so exciting to hear me walk through the house, right? Definitely. You wanted to go on an adventure, I know it. Here we go. I do have another Depression-y art piece planned too, but I don't think that's a today project. Speaking of the tarot stuff, I guess I was earlier. I do have a piece of paper planned for it already, see? But I'm going to make the Tower 2. Which the Tower, for people who don't know, is like the disaster card. So it's like when everything has been broken down to the foundations and you need to rebuild everything. And my plan for it is the Tower 2, which is instead of thinking that you were at the foundation suddenly crumbles and you end up in the basement. Because that's kind of how my year has felt. Not gonna lie. So I'm gonna make partially a silly haha card about it, and partially a vent piece, I think, is really what it's gonna boil down to. Okay, so I do have, as you saw earlier, the shitty sketches here that I did in bed while it was dark and I was half asleep, because that's when I had the idea. So I think I just want to start planning out which parts of this are going to be what. So I did say that I was thinking of doing a little Venn diagram with what I describe my art as and what other people describe my art as. I did ask people on Tumblr, and I think I posted it on Twitter and nobody answered, about what they think of when they think of my art, like how they would describe it. And that overlaps a fair amount with what I would describe my art as, which is cool. So a Venn diagram, a little drawing of me, and maybe a second little drawing of me. Because like fancy mode that I dress up to show other people, and then like regular mode, aka gremlin mode, where I'm just in my pajamas looking a little feral and tired, because I think that's more accurate to me than what I look like when I'm dressed up. But and like, so name, my username, because I have the same username everywhere, so if you see a Thunder Katie Bean out there, it's probably me. So far I haven't run into anybody else trying to use it. What social medias I have, pronouns, probably a pride flag. I haven't decided which one I want to use yet. A lot of people put age, location, and stuff like that. I don't know that I want to do that. I'll put location because saying I live in Alaska is kind of like a way to stand out a bit, and I am hoping to do more Alaska themed art this coming year. So I think putting that is fine. I could do signs, but I don't think anybody really cares that much. I'm a Leo and I'm a dragon. So be scared, I guess, is the the takeaway. And then most meet the artists is they have like a like and dislike stack, and then like what's in their bag or their purse. But I think what I really want to do, since this is going to be like a little header kind of a thing, I might use it for like a business card actually, now that I think about it. I want to have what mediums I do and some art goals that I want to do for the next year. A lot of times I tend to start new art projects on or around my birthday. So I started the Year of Lyrics on my birthday. I started the Dream Journal project after I finished that, which was a little bit after my birthday. So I think that putting art goals with something that I plan to redo on my birthday every year is the right call. So yeah, I considered adding current projects, but if I was going to do that, it's changing in 2 months anyway. So I don't think that that's the right call for now. But I could do, I don't know, just kind of like the stuff that I like to do. But that could go under medium and like, yeah, I think under medium I can do, so like watercolor, and then ink in the micron pens and stuff, and say typography, and then do some little fiber doodles for sewing, embroidery, knitting, and weaving, which is the main stuff that I do. Although I don't technically I own a loom, but it's not up here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring it up here, because those things are expensive, man. I technically inherited my mom's floor loom when she passed away in January. But I've been weaving through her old projects down at my parents' place, and I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to go down there again because things are kind of up in the air right now. But there's actually a project on there like right now that's off tension waiting for me to get back to it. So, and it should not be shipped with stuff on it for sure. Especially not a project that has had as much issue with tension as that one has. But now that I've rambled, so I want to do a border, and I usually do just a little one, but maybe I want to do a little bit of a bigger one on here. Just since I'm going to be doing it on stream and you guys can only see so much of it with the way the cam is. Let's see, maybe I want to do a 1/2 inch. That will still be pretty big, but have a nice edge to it. Usually I do considerably smaller than that, but pencil, there you are. Here's where I wish I had my smaller ruler again. I really don't know where I put it. It's part of the problem with moving stuff back and forth, is I'll set something down that's handy and then just forget that it exists. The really fun part about using the huge ruler is you just knock things off the table. But soon I will have a real studio space. It's gonna happen. And then hopefully I'll be able to stream more too. Because a lot of the projects that I need to like work on are physical, but I can only do that so much since I'm like literally out in the living room right now. I'm in the living space, which I can't justify taking up the living room for 4 days out of a week or something ridiculous. Which I'm sure wouldn't be like an argument, but I would feel bad about it, so I won't. Okay, 1/2 inch border. And I think I want to put name and stuff up top. So let's do general handwriting. I probably want to do my signature next to my name. Maybe I just want to do username and then my signature. Thoughts. Let's see. So I'm gonna plot this out, I think, and then take a picture of it and digitally do just like a road map, just so that it's easier for me to consider once I do this on Sunday, so that I have like a better idea of what the heck I'm doing. Because yes, I'm making this up, but also I'm a person who needs to think things through a little bit. And that's me lying to you. I need to think things through a lot of it. Okay, so username, and then I want to do like a little row of, oh, I wanted to add a signature there, so let's do that. Like this. And let's add a little row for social media logos. I can go there. Then I want to do the drawing of me probably should be fairly large since it's about me, I guess. So let's see. I could add like my bag underneath if I wanted to do like that big. Maybe. I'm not measuring either side. I'm just trusting myself to make a straight line, which is probably not super smart. I got pretty good at it when I was doing the Year of Lyrics though. But that was on a smaller page. I think bigger than that. I am making this fairly large because I want to have space to do some details, because that's my thing. Like right there. I also don't draw people very often, so me having to draw myself is gonna be a journey. I think doing like a tiny little gremlin mode right here would be good, once I decide how big I want this, I guess. I think stab myself in the stomach with a ruler. I think probably like there is a reasonable amount of space for a mini self-portrait kind of a dealio. There, and I can do like here, gremlin mode. Can you even see those pencil lines? They're really light. I think like maybe I'll make that a joke too and have like live gremlin reaction, like the live slug reaction. I think like there. Good, because I don't need to show my whole self here. Just need to get the concept of bad back posture and the biggest t-shirt you've ever seen in your life. Yeah, I think they're pretty light. I'm keeping them light anyway. Am I in your way? Okay. I should be done soonish, I think. Just plotting this out. I'm talking to my brother again, in case I wasn't clear. So here's our gremlin zone. That's the plan. Okay. Oh, people have been putting like their top 5 music artists and stuff on there too, which I thought would have been interesting, but like my music stuff on Spotify has shifted dramatically because I've been using streaming music through there, which I think is funny. But ACS will still be at the top because they're on both my usual playlists and my streaming list, because they let their music be used for everything, which is great. And they are definitely one of my favorites. So, okay. Fancy mode, gremlin mode. Username, signature, social media. Over here, what do I want to do? Maybe I just want to start doing likes and dislikes there, or do I want to do medium up at the top? I think that makes more sense, actually. So let's do mediums starting over here. So I want to do like little sketches of stuff. So I'll do my watercolor palette. And let's see, I did like really basic sketches. I guess I should do my iPad because I do digital. So that can be another square. Digital. Do a pen. So this can be both like a kind of like things I use and the art that I do kind of a zone. And then I want to do a ball of yarn going in 2 directions, and one's going to do knitting over here, one's going to do weaving over here. Mediums. What else do I want to add to that? I guess like maybe essential art tools, so I could add like the tape that I use, kinds of erasers I use, that kind of stuff maybe is more in line. I could draw my overly complex mechanical pencil. I use engineering pencils. My dad is an engineer and my brother also did engineering in school, so I have strong opinions about mechanical pencils, and this is my boy. The Pentels are so good and I love them. Okay, So, mediums, other materials. I guess I probably want to do a little paint tube to say the brands that I often use. That might be good. And I do wash too. Something I'm using more of, so that can be another paint tube because I only have one brand of those. Let's see. I think golds can go right through here. So I can just do, I think like right there, so that's not exactly on the same line as the gremlin. Golds can be this section here. I don't think I really want to do like what's in my bag very much, if I'm being honest, but I can do some likes and dislikes down here, just in like a general sense. I guess I haven't put in the people describe my art as bit. I guess that could go right here. Or maybe I should do goals there, because I have fewer goals than... Decisions. This is the problem with existence. Because I was thinking I could do a Venn diagram, but maybe I don't want to draw more circles. Maybe I just want to do goals and then what other people describe my art as, because for the most part, what people have said is actually what I think of my art as, so. So I think goals here, and then people describe my art as here. Because I have 4 goals I'm putting on there that I've written down already. Likes and dislikes can just go here, I think. So likes, dislikes. Some people have been doing like cutesy stuff for that too, where they do like a little heart and a broken heart. Let's see. There, so it'd be again math. Is that the center line? About there. Okay. I'm probably going to draw myself wearing a Maya Curran skirt because I've been wearing those like a lot whenever I'm dressed up. So I'll probably put a little aside to say Maya Curran skirt. And I know the shoes that I'm going to draw myself in, I'm going to have a little note that says, once these shoes die, I'm going to cry. Because they're my favorite dress-up shoes, and I've had them for ages, and they're going to wear out, and I'm sad about it. I haven't been able to find anything like them since, which is very frustrating. Okay. I think I might end up moving these up a little bit in the end, but that's a good like base blobs, if you will, to get the idea going. Am I missing anything that I wanted to add? I don't think so. I probably do have a place to put like my signs and stuff. I don't particularly want to put how old I am, although I guess if I'm planning on doing this every birthday, that would make sense. But I don't know, talking about age and stuff on Twitch is a little iffy. Because if I start talking about my age, then people who are younger and shouldn't be on here might talk about their age, and then I have to ban them, because otherwise it's placed on me that they were in my community and talking to me without me taking effect, which is frustrating for everybody involved. Anything else? I don't think so. At least not that I'm thinking of right now. Could do some like necessary accessories, but I don't know. Yeah, like I don't have a problem saying how old I am. Like I'm not one of those people who's like, "Oh no, I'm 27 forever." Haha. But just the whole Twitch thing is very specific about how you deal with people telling their ages. I think that's it. I don't know what colors I want to do. Well, I guess I do know what colors I want to do because I have decided my brand colors. Haha. Good job, Past Katie. You figured it out. And that would be the lilac and the mint. So that's easy peasy for the base colors for that. And then I can do details and stuff on the specific colors. Or specific items. I'm just going to say colors 35 times in a row. Keep up. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to get done today. I have other things that I need to do, including starting a sticker order, which is very exciting. I do still need to decide which Halloween stickers I'm going to do singles of. But that, maybe I'll just make another poll on Tumblr. Tumblr has been very kind about helping me figure out what to do. So if you have any opinions, people who are watching me, about which of these stickers you would want as singles instead of just in the sheet, you should speak up and tell me. You could influence the future right now. Because originally when I was planning this, I was going to do the witch hat and I was going to do the skull as singles. And I'm not sure that they are exciting enough to really want to do as singles. Because the problem with ordering stickers is like if they don't sell, I'm stuck with them. So it needs to be something that I'm willing to look at for the rest of my life. Or until I start giving them away to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And like I'm obsessed with skulls. So like the skull one, I could hold on to 25 of those if I wanted to. The hat, I'm not so sold on. I do like the way the hat turned out, but I don't know. I don't know. I do like one of my favorite bits of this. So one, I love this warty squash so much. I'm so happy I added that. And two, I really like how I did the dirt here because I made them look pretty good like rocks without spending like a crazy amount of time on them. So I do like the way that looks, but I don't think that would be a good single sticker. Maybe skull and cat. Maybe that's what I'm gonna go with. Because I do like the concept of the cat, so if people don't buy them, I'll use them. I am planning to start doing more in-person stuff too, which will help with sales for sure, instead of just hoping that people find me on the internet. Although my reach has gotten a lot better. I've been playing the Instagram algorithm the past 2 months or so. My reach has really expanded, like a lot. So that's something. Making progress. Okay, I'm going to see who else is live right now that we can go bother. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. One of the options on the Tumblr poll for the Cauldron one was I would not buy this sticker anyway. And I haven't voted in that one, and you can't see the results until you vote or until the poll ends. So I need to wait until tonight to see what everybody's voting. It is looking like it's pretty even across the choices, except for the one that I thought was going to be most popular. So that one, nobody seemed to like very much at all, which is why I ask. Okay, remember to mute the tab. This is one that I did lyric art of. I don't think I put that one up yet. Where is it? I keep moving things around in here whenever I'm adding new stuff, and it's making a mess. Oh, I put it all in there. That was stupid. Where is it? I know you're in here. This one. Let's see. I have a few artists going right now. I definitely put that back in the wrong slot again. What kind of vibes am I feeling today? I have rated you lately, I think. Right? I'm thinking that you're the right person. Probably. Yeah. Let's go bother Liberty today. Oh my gosh, I made a mess today. There's stuff everywhere. Those I want to go in there. Let's see what they're working on. Something involving gummy bears, perhaps? That's on brand. That pen does not go in there. My poor laptop. She's struggling so hard. Okay, looks like digital art, and it looks like it might be a Neopet. That's fun. Okay. Libierty does some really cool comics and stuff, and they're super queer friendly, so they're fun. I'm going to switch the ending screen so that nobody tries to raid me, hopefully, while I'm ending. And let's spell raid correctly for one. Goodness gracious. Okay. So I don't have a proper raid call or anything like that, but if you feel like saying hey and saying I sent you, that's fine. And if you don't, then that's fine too. No worries. I know for me that I often don't enjoy participating in raids because then I feel the need to stick around and I have a bad time excusing myself. So if you need to dip, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But I can vouch for Libierty and their vibes. So yeah, good to see you. Thanks for sticking around and chatting and all that jazz. I appreciate having somebody to bounce ideas off of, for sure. Like, I can just talk to myself, but it's nice to have somebody here to be like, oh yeah, I like that idea, or oh no, I don't like that idea. So I will be live again on Sunday at 2:30 Alaska time, which is 3:30 Pacific time. And I will be chatting around and doing some art, and maybe you get to see my brother for once. So everybody take care of yourselves. Remember you're loved and be kind to yourselves. And I will see you on my birthday. Bye.